The final film in the DC Extended Universe, as well as the 6th DC film in a row not to do so well financially. However, I will say, I think it deserves more credit than what it's getting. Blue Beetle. We have the last film in the DCEU before James Gunn basically comes and reboots the whole thing. And we've not really had a good run from DC as of late. I think the Suicide Squad is probably the one that sticks with me as being like a truly solid good film, and the others have just been kind of mixed receptions. This one will probably be received the same. However, I feel like Blue Beetle has something that not necessarily all the other DC films had as of late. I'll probably name it in my video title or something like that. I haven't quite got that far yet. A preview into how I plan my videos. This film was just such a throwback to those early 2000s origin movies we used to get all the time. The Iron Mans, the Thors, the X-Men, the Fantastic Fours. It felt kind of charming in a way. And similar to those origin films, it comes with the same goods and bads. And as I had said in my last review of Gran Turismo, where it was walking that tightrope between generic and fun, this one was pretty much doing the same thing. However, I felt like for the most part, it was leaning more towards fun. And yeah, like I said, the same problems too. The corniness, the very same stereotypical story beats you have to hit, and just the god-awful villains. Okay, let's start with the good, and that's primarily the cast. Excuse me if I butcher the name, but Xolo Maridueña, I'll put his name at the bottom, he plays the main hero here, and I thought it was pretty great for the most part. High energy, endearing, funny for the most part, and just generally a character that you want to root for. The supporting family, great for the most part too. They are kind of annoying at the start, but get much more enjoyable towards the second half of the film. George Lopez especially, really great in this. The edge that Blue Beetle has amongst other origin films from the past, they have that Mexican sense of family. It's a strong theme that we've seen in a Disney film called Coco as well. You get that same sort of warmth to this family too. Bruna Marquezine starts off as a shaky character as well, but becomes a bit more enjoyable towards the end too. It's somewhat of an expensive movie, I guess, about 100 million I think, but at least I can say that it's making use of that money. The CG looks pretty great, and the action is also quite fun and entertaining to watch, although it can get a bit samey. The hero is energetic, naive, gets his ass whooped, gets vengeful, and you kind of rinse and repeat that a couple of times. I also think that the main selling point of Blue Beetle was supposed to be that it's this suit that can conjure up anything that you can think of, but we just mostly get swords and blasters. That Buster Sword scene was pretty cool though, but unfortunately it's about 20 seconds long. And then we move on to the bad guy fight, and it's an origin movie of course, so it's going to be that classic thing where the villain's got the same powers but bigger or better. Understandably, some might find that eye-rolling. I was fine with it for the most part. My real problem comes from the other villain in this story, which is played by Susan Sarandon. From seeing her in the trailers, you can tell it wasn't going to be quite right, and that feeling is spot on. Not really sure where they were trying to go with this one. It felt kind of cashed in, like you'd seen a lot of performances for villains in early superhero films. Just really wasn't helping out here. I think I also came to the realization that the message of Blue Beetle is that this is his destiny, he's born to do this, but he's not actually really a hero in this. Everything that happens in this is purely from self-defense, not saving anyone per se. Bit of a weird one. And that's kind of it if I'm honest with this one. I feel like the best way is to describe it is those early 2000s origin films that we had, and with all the ups and downs we've had with DC as of late, I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad thing. This is the last thing we get before we say goodbye to DCEU. I'm okay with it. Although that's kind of ironic because this really doesn't have any ties to the rest of the universe. This really could have been just its own origin story. So yeah, I mean, I'd recommend checking it out if you're a fan of superhero films. I probably wouldn't say rush to the cinema for this. You could easily wait for this one to come out on streaming services. It came out last weekend, so maybe you've already seen it, and if so, I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe and all that. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews on movies, anime, and video games. Until next time guys, take care. Bye bye.